Hey guys, so I am back with another video and this is a continuation for my style exploration series. This time I am going to be using watercolors as the main medium that I want to use for my fashion illustrations. I have actually used watercolors before, but that was a long time ago, and I've only recently picked up watercolors, which you guys might have seen in my previous videos. So for this video, I want to explore how I can use watercolors for my fashion illustrations. So let's get started. Once again, I began with doing a bit of research on how other artists create fashion illustrations using watercolors. There were actually two artists that I really loved the style and I felt like showed the kind of style that I wanted to achieve for my own illustration. The first one is Katie Rogers. She actually has a blog called Paper Fashions, and hands down, she was one of the artists who inspired me to pursue fashion illustration. I remember finding out about her blog when I was only 14 years old, and I absolutely fell in love with her style. What I love about it is the kind of raw sense that you get when looking at her illustrations. Like, you could see the guidelines and pencil marks she used before adding colors, and it feels like everything she puts down on paper was carefully thought out, like every line, every mark, and I really want to achieve that kind of style for this one. I also really like Lena Kerr as well, which is an artist I recently found out about when I found her on Instagram. Her works are amazing. It has a cleaner finish to her illustrations compared to Katie Rogers, which I also love, and this is where the conflict starts for me. I love clean illustrations, but I also love rough illustrations, and honestly, I am yet to discover a way for me to combine both and achieve my own artistic style. Anyway, keeping those artists in mind, I start putting my ideas of how I want to use watercolors into practice. First, I start with sketching the design that I want, which, like the previous video in this series, is inspired by street style. I am currently loving the combination of long coats and turtlenecks, which I've been seeing everywhere on the internet, and it kind of makes me excited for winter, although it doesn't really get that cold here where I live. So after I have created the rough sketch, I use a light box to transfer my rough sketch to my clean sketch. And nowadays I am actually using a 2H wooden pencil to draw my clean sketch because obviously 2H means that the lead is hard, which creates lighter marks on the paper compared to a 2B, which I always use for a rough sketch. The 2H pencil, by the way, is just a regular 2H pencil that I got from Officeworks by the brand Staedtler, in case I get asked questions about it. So what's different to this process is that I actually initially decided not to use a black fineliner for this illustration, which is why you can see me immediately color with my watercolors. But you will see later that I will eventually add the black outlines to the drawing. For now, I colored the illustration in sections, and you can kind of see the white gaps that I left, which sort of create an outline on its own. I also tried to create a flat base layer, and later I will add shading to it as I go along. And finally, I am doing the black outline for the face and the rest of the illustration. Like I said, I wasn't planning on adding these outlines in the beginning, but then I felt as if the whole drawing lacked something that made it pop. So for this one, I tried to put more thought on where I would place the lines, but then I didn't want to take my time when drawing each line because, like in my previous video, I want the lines to be gestural. I want them to be done quickly. And that's where I start to once again contradict myself. For some of the lines in this illustration, it turned out the way I wanted it to be, even though I would flick the pen. But for the other lines, like the line for her pants, I accidentally drew it rather weirdly. And a part of me really wanted to draw each line slowly, the way I would do it for my normal illustrations, but then I wouldn't achieve the style I was going for. So I kind of just had to let it go with that mistake and convince myself that that line gives this drawing character. Other things that I did with the inking of this illustration is that in my previous video, I did take a rough approach, but I made sure to outline everything. For this one though, I didn't outline everything. I only placed a black outline where I thought it was necessary. As for the line thickness, usually I'd place it where it would indicate the dark areas to add dimension to the drawing, but for this one, I tried to keep it random to see what the result would look like. To be honest, I quite like it, but I still feel like I would like it better if the thickness of the line really helped enhance the drawing rather than just being placed somewhere random. And that's about it. This wasn't completely different in terms of the style for this and the previous video where I used my Copic markers. However, the fact that it's a different art medium creates a different look to it. And so that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did like it and subscribe if you haven't already. Please check the description box as well for any of my social media links if you want to contact me or to reach me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Pretty much, I've already mentioned the basic guidelines that are necessary to draw the male figure. Now it's time to make this figure look even more masculine, to be able to distinguish this figure from a feminine figure.